everybody, good evening and welcome to your very own BYJU'S 6th, 7th and 8th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya and I welcome you to today's class where we are going to be kickstarting grade 8 Abhyas series where we will do top 15 questions from biology. So I hope that all of you are excited for this class, and very quickly students, please do let me know if my audio, my video and my screen is clear to all of you. If it is, can you give me a quick thumbs up to let me know that we are good to go? Yes, good evening everybody, good evening. Okay, so just give me one moment. I left my pen there, so I'll come back and get the pen. In the meanwhile, you can give me a thumbs up. Okay, good evening all of you, good evening. So I just went to finish off the previous session and I know I ran a little bit late, but now I hope that you all are excited. I can see many of you are here. Now for those of you who are saying, ma'am, screen is not clear, requesting you to go to settings, then go to advanced settings where you will get an option to set the pixel quality and keep it at 720p, because when you do that you will be able to see it clearly. Yes, so very quickly students, is everything good to go? Audio, video, screen, all good? Okay, not at all Tara. When I have to teach my students, I am not at all tired. Okay, awesome. I see everything is good to go. So as you all know, if you have seen, Abhyas series is something that we have launched for all of you, wherein we are going to dedicate this whole month to help you practice. Now we've learned the concepts, we have gone through the syllabus, but it's important that we constantly keep practicing, right? Which is why if you see for grade 8 starting today, we are going to do top 15 most important questions. Now tomorrow of course is going to be 6th of December, right? I hope I'm getting the dates right. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be 6th of December where we will also have a question for combustion and flame, then followed by which you will have a math class where we will do top 20 important questions. So this whole week we have given you a weekly timetable, right? A weekly timetable where you know exactly what is happening when. So please take a screenshot so that all of you know, yes, all of you know that what is going on, yes. So take a screenshot, and this is the timetable that we are going to be following right from today. Hello Deveshwar Bacha, hello. I hope that all of you are excited. Yes? Okay, ma'am, is it full syllabus? Full syllabus? Just chemistry ka alone is going to be difficult questions and hot questions that we're going to do. So in today's class, what are we going to do? We have a total of 15 questions, okay? We have a total of 15 questions. 10 questions are going to be objective questions, which means they are going to be MCQs, and I will be giving YouTube polls for the same. So we will do YouTube polls today. Then last 5 questions that are going to be there are going to be subjective questions for which you need to give me the keywords and the answers. So we will also understand how to write. Okay. Yes. Now today, please, I hope that all of you don't ask me for Menti, because this week I am not taking Menti, right? No Menti happening today. So please, if you're here for Menti, I'm very sorry. We will do YouTube poll questions, right? Now these MCQs that are going to be there are going to be full syllabus. So we will cover the whole thing, right? Menti nahi hai, Hazel, Menti nahi hai, right? Now, of course, along with this, I have something for you. Now, when you come to these practice classes, don't you also think, Arey ma'am, I come to your class, I give all the answers, but how do I know if I've really studied, right? How do I know that I have really studied and I have done well for this class? Or this class has helped me to get good marks? How do we know? The only way in which you will know is if I give you a test, right? Only way is if I give you a test and I say, okay, you attended my class and you got good marks in the test. Then what will you say? Ha ma'am, test mein bhi acha marks aaya hai. That means that I'm going to do well. That means I'm thorough with my concepts, right? Which is why today, as you all know, we have a Google form test which is available for all of you in the description of this video. I will also pin it in the comments once after the live stream, right? So here basically you have a total of 5 questions which will be there for you. An important thing is you will be very smart to say, Arey ma'am, abhi I'll give the test, right? No, this Google form test, whatever results that I will take will be post 9:30 p.m. So whoever gives me answers post 9:30 p.m., I will be taking the results from them only. Otherwise, you will go in between, give the test and not pay attention in class, right? So here, post 9:30 p.m., go give the test, or you can give it whenever, but preferable that you give it immediately, right? Once you give the test, all of you who score 5 out of 5, and you give me the answers within the first 1 hour, you get a chance to get featured on our community post as our achievers, right? Our test achievers, which is why I hope that all of you are excited, right? You will get featured by the end of this week. That means you have to give the test. Yes? Awesome, Gaurav. Very proud. Don't forget to let me know in the comments, right? ठीक है. So are we ready? Yes, are we all ready for today's class? Now I know the class has started late, but it will go on for 45 minutes, not more than that, right? Because you guys are all pro. You are all pro, and I know you will do well. Hazel has got 40 out of 40 in science. Very proud. ठीक है. Ma'am, when to do? Immediately as soon as I finish the test. Ma'am, do we have to attend to this right now? No. Now, of course, if you are happy with the plan that we have come up with, don't forget to like this video. See, you need to have at least 200 likes. Your juniors are all ahead of you, let me tell you. They aram se reached 190 plus likes in less amount of time. Which is why all you need to do is to like the video. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, MLB Dreamer. Janvi is asking me about placenta. Ma'am, what is conception placenta? In my exam, it was not there. But ma'am didn't teach us direct indirect. Okay. Direct indirect reproduction. Yeah. I'll teach you that bit. Don't worry. I'll teach you that bit. Yes? Where are the answers? That's a test, na? That's a test. Answers will not come. You'll get to know if it is correct or wrong. Cool. So let's get started, everybody. Need that likes to reach at least 200 plus. Okay. So I will start giving you polls, and this is going to be your first question. Yes? Which among the following condition is not essential to grow maize, right? So let me make the poll live. Now you need to bear with me because I'm the one giving you the polls. You have 4 options from which you need to tell me which among the following is not necessary in order to cultivate maize, right? The poll is live on your screens. Okay, ma'am, I am a new subscriber. Could you give me an intro? Oh, so many of you are very new to the class. So those of you who are very new, I welcome you to the class. My name is Aishwarya. I mainly teach biology on the channel, and I also help you out with geography as well. Now, today what we will do is, today we are starting and kick-starting Abhyas, which is a series that we have launched on our channel, which means practice. So here on this channel for the next 1 month, you will find practice dedicated sessions happening where we will ensure and we dedicate time to make sure that you become confident with your syllabus, right? Yes, SST will also come. Ankita ma'am is back, which means that we will also get started with SST. Okay, thank you, Habiba. Okay. Raja, I have given you an intro. Welcome to the channel. Hello Kriti, hello Sachin, to all my new students who are here. Welcome, I truly hope you enjoy the class. Okay. Hey, these moi people, I'm telling you, you are bound to get timed out by me only then. Super. I can see many of you are giving me the answers. Now, very few people giving me votes, but answers coming in and likes progressing very slowly. Which chapter are we covering? Pura ka pura session, right? Okay. So, which among the following is not essential to grow maize, right? We know that maize that is there comes under the category of a kharif crop. Now, when we talk about kharif crops, we know that kharif crops are normally found or they are sown during the June-July month, right? So June, July, August, around that time, and they are harvested during September-October time. So around this time we see that they require high temperature, humidity and rainfall. Low temperature is not a criteria, right? Low temperature is not a criteria for growing maize, which is why the correct answer is option C. So very good, all of you have got 1 out of 50. Sonika, this is from the chapter Crop Production and Management. Okay, awesome. Let's go on to the next question. Question number 2. sometimes manure can be added to the soil even before tilling. So why do we do this? Why do we add manure before tilling in some cases? You have 4 options given to you and you need to give me the correct answer. Okay. So let me quickly give you the polls. Ma'am, I chose wrong. Array, it's okay. You can give me the correct answer. See, if you go wrong here and there also, it's completely fine because this is how we improve on, right? And we get it correctly. Okay, I can see that less manure is used. It helps in proper mixing of manure with soil. It saves labor and time. Or is it none of the above? No problem. I'm still in question number 2. I was also late. No problem, Inaya. Dhanraj, my name is Aishwarya. Many of you are new, I've realized. Many are new in class. So, those of you who are very new, my name is Aishwarya. Ma'am, misclick. Anushka's like, ma'am, this is cakewalk. What are these questions? You know, in YouTube polls, you can give the correct answer again, no? Even if there's a misclick, you can still give the correct answer. Okay, awesome. Many of you have given me the correct answer here. See, why normally if you look at steps of agriculture, it starts with soil preparation, right? It starts with soil preparation, followed by which we do sowing of seeds, and then after that we add our nutrients, that is adding manure or fertilizers. But in some cases, what do we see? We can add manure before, right? Beforehand itself, we can add manure while we prepare the soil or till the soil. Reason being is not because I will use less manure or because it is saving me labor and time or any other case, but because we see that when I prepare my soil, what is the intent of preparing the soil? Intent of preparing the soil is so that there is proper distribution of nutrients, right? So if I want to have proper distribution of nutrients, I can also add the manure beforehand itself. So thereby what do I see? It helps in making sure that the manure is properly mixed, right? So here the correct answer is option B, and you have got 2 out of 15, right? Okay, ma'am, it is not a piece of cake, it is a whole cake. Okay. Awesome. Question number 3, everybody, on your screens now, right? So question number 3 here is, which among the following methods can help in improving the quality and quantity of food production? So we see that we have 4 options from which you need to tell me what methods will make sure that my crops grow properly, right? Ma'am, we hit century. Nahi, we didn't hit century. We are still at 99. One more run to hit century. Okay. You guys are very slow, huh? With likes, I'm telling you that. Your juniors are very fast. Okay. Hello, Shivam. See, you have 4 options, which means what is step number 1? I always tell you when you have statement-based questions, no? Whenever you have statement-based questions, first thing you need to do is identify which is true, which is false. Now, if I want to produce more and more crops, will I make sure that my raw materials are going to become costly? How will I improve the quantity of crops if everything is so expensive? Will you be able to do it if things are expensive? No, increasing price of raw materials is not going to help me. But can I apply modern technology? Of course. We know that over traditional tools like using plow or hoe, if I use a cultivator or a seed drill, it makes things faster, right? So this right here, of course, is true. Now carrying out research and development, right? Carrying out research and development also gives me an idea of what are all the different techniques, what are all the different ways in which I am able to grow my crops effectively. So my quality of crops are also more, right? So this is also true. But encouraging deforestation, getting rid of plantations, is that the case? No, we don't want to encourage this in order to improve the quality. So this is also false. So the correct answers are 2 and 3, which means that the correct answer from the 4 options is going to be option C. Now, Raja, you are asking me a doubt about would wheat require high temperature? Wheat does not require high temperature for growth, because wheat is a rabi crop. So it requires relatively lower temperature. Yes? Okay. Oh ma'am, you changed option A, B, C, D. Did I? Did I Purvi? Nahi, it is just written differently. That's all. So correct answer is option 3, C, and you've got 3 out of 50. Super. Let's have a look at question number 4 on your screens right now. Let me end this poll and go to question number 4. The belief that the mother is completely responsible for the sex of the child is wrong because the child gets the sex chromosome only from the mother, develops in the body of the mother, gets one sex chromosome from the mother and one from the father, or gets it only from the father. Now, this is from the chapter Reaching the Age of Adolescence. Now, this was covered by Ankita ma'am sometime earlier before I did reproduction in plants as well. But either ways, in case if you have a doubt in this part, I will quickly take it once again, right? Okay. Arey, see, you guys doing moi, you will start getting timed out from now. So please don't make me time you all out. Adira and many others requesting you not to do that. Everybody, please give me the answers here. I am doing extremely good. Okay. I am not ignoring anybody here, right? Not ignoring anyone. See, now if you look at the human body, right? If you look at a human cell, now if you take any cell in our body, you take skin cell, you take liver cell, you take any whatever cell, right? Liver, and I'm stopping at liver cell. We see that there is a structure called as the nucleus, right? So there is a structure called as nucleus, and we see that inside the nucleus there is a genetic material. Now what is this genetic material? This genetic material is basically everything, all the information that is there in our body is present in the genetic material. And we know that this genetic material is nothing but DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. Now all this DNA, right, is condensed and it is existing in the form of chromosomes. Yes. Now what are chromosomes? Chromosomes look like this, okay? And we see that they are rod-shaped structures which are found inside the nucleus. All this genetic material is present in the form of chromosomes, right? Now in the human body, we see that there are a total of 46 chromosomes. So if you take a skin cell, you take a liver cell, you take any kind of cell, you will find 46 chromosomes that exist as 23 pairs. Yes? So they exist in the form of 23 pairs. Now these 23 pairs that are there, right? So this is in normal cells. But in the reproductive cells, so we know that in males we see that the sperms are produced, right, which is the male gamete. And in females we see that the eggs are produced, which is the female gamete. Apart from all other cells, these sperms and egg will have only half the number. So they will not have 23 pairs. They will have only 23. Now interestingly, in these 23 pairs, the first 22 pairs, right, or the first 44 are the same in both males as well as females. But the last pair or the last two, right, they are the ones which are important to us, which is called as the sex chromosomes, right? So they are called as sex chromosomes. So in a female, we see that, or in a male, we will see that there will be 44 plus last pair, which is XY. While in females, we will see 44 plus XX. So basically what happens, this is the case. So the sperms and the eggs that are there, we see that all eggs will end up having 22 plus X, right? It will have half. So 22 plus X because XX. But in the case of sperms, some could be 22 plus X while some could be 22 plus Y. And based on which sperm fuses with which egg will determine whether the zygote is going to develop into a male or a female. Which is why what do you see? We see that in this particular case, it is because there is one set of X chromosome coming from the father and one coming from the mother. Which is why correct answer here is going to be which one? Option C. So here if you want to take a screenshot of this, everybody quickly take a screenshot. Yes, quickly take a screenshot. See, think of it as number, right? Think of it as 46 in number. Just that the last two that are there are different. In males, it is X and Y, while in this, it is X and X, right? And then we see that this would happen. During fusion, based on the combination that is there, we will get the young one. Okay. Awesome, all of you. Very good. Now, with this, of course, the correct answer is going to be option C, right? So, the correct answer is going to be option C. Now, cute gamer, if you've not understood, I recommend that you go and watch the one-shot video that I have taken. It will definitely help you out. Jaspreet, you can ask me the doubt, but if you're going to ask me something inappropriate, I'm not going to give you the answer. But if it is valid, I will give you the answer for it, right? ठीक है. Now, let's go on to the next one, which is question number 15. Yes? How many autosomes are there, Sanjay? For 22 pairs or 44, right? Next up, animals exhibiting external fertilization produce a large number of gametes. Yes? So, gametes or animals that do external fertilization produce a large number of gametes. Why do they do this, right? So, I'm going to give you the polls, everybody, and you can give me the answer. So, jaldi say, let me give you the polls. Okay. Ma'am, syllabus is not complete in our school. It's okay. You come. It's always good to be a little ahead if you want to be. But if not, it's okay. So, for the questions for which you've not finished off the syllabus, you can watch it. Anita, what have you not understood? See, it's easy to say, Ma'am, I did not understand. That makes it half the problem only. But if you don't tell me what you've not understood, then it becomes difficult. Ma'am, what is the difference between uterine tube and fallopian tube? Okay. Jaspreet, can I take this question after I give you the answer? Okay. Ma'am, please let me understand. Can you tell me what you want to understand? Is it the sex chromosomes bit or is it the this particular question? Ma'am, this chapter is really confusing. Is it reproduction in animals that is confusing? Is reproduction chapter confusing or is the other chapter confusing? Ma'am, this will come in Telegram. Yeah, you will get the PDF on Telegram. Don't worry. But see, whatever I write on that blackboard is not going to come. Okay. Nahi, Devika, no, that is wrong. Uterine tube, the word uterine, if it's there, it's with respect to uterus. Uterine tube per se, we don't say we use as a uterine tract or the uterine lining, but it's with respect to uterus. Fallopian tube is the oviduct where the, fallopian tube is basically the part wherein fertilization happens. Yes? Okay. Ma'am, notes, Milega notes. Okay, ma'am, please explain this question. Ma'am, reproduction in animals chapter, I request you to watch the one-shot video, right? If you have not understood, I would say that watch the one-shot video. Okay. Ma'am, this session is help. Okay. Now, I understand some of you still have some doubts. Now, let's go a little from the beginning, right? See, I may have to backtrack a little to start with the process of fertilization. Now, we all know what is fertilization. Are we clear with what is fertilization? See, fertilization is basically a process where we see that there is fusion of the egg, right? So, when we see that there is fusion of egg and sperm, right? So, when the egg and the sperm fuses, we call this process as fertilization, right? So, now of course, in this particular case, we see that this can happen in two ways. It can happen internally, okay, and it can happen externally, okay. Now, in internal, right, in internal fertilization, let's take the example of the human body. I'm just going to draw only one side because I don't have that much time. Okay, so this is the human body and this is one part of the female reproductive tract, right? So this is the female reproductive system. Yes. Now here what do we see? We see that this oval kind of structure is the ovary, right? Which produces the ovum or which produces the egg. Now this is the fimbriae that is there. So when the egg gets released, it will go inside and it will go to this part which is called as oviduct. So what is oviduct? Oviduct is also called as fallopian tube, and it is a structure, it is a tube that connects it, right? Are we clear now? Ye hai ovary. Ovary releases the egg. It will go to the next part which is called as oviduct. Are we clear? Okay. Now from here we see that there is a pear-shaped organ, right? See, I said I'm drawing only one half of it. So here we see that there is a pear-shaped organ. This part that we see right here, this pear-shaped organ. See, Sridhar, maintain the decorum of the class or you can leave. This is what we call as uterus, right? This is what we call as uterus. Now, in your oviduct, this is inside the female's body. This is where fertilization happens, right? So this is where fertilization happens. So we see that it is happening inside the body. So here fertilization is internal. It is happening within the body, right? Now, uterine tube, like I said, I have not heard of uterine tube, but they are referring to the uterus only. But you have uterine lining and all of that. Uterus is also called as the womb that is there, yes? So now in this particular case, what do we see? Once fertilization has happened here, it will keep developing and coming, right? It will keep developing and coming. And finally, what will happen? We see that the embryo will get implanted to the wall of the uterus. So we call this process as implantation. Now, what is conception? Conception is basically when you conceive, right? Or when you conceive a young one, that means that you have given birth. Not given birth, but rather this process of fertilization has happened. So that is what you mean by conception also. They say that, oh, you are with child or you have conceived. Yes? Now, there is one more structure called as placenta. Now, placenta is a structure that develops much later. So, it is a disc-like structure that develops wherein when the fetus is developed, so when the fetus is formed. So, once the baby has grown and it has become into a fetus, it needs to get nutrition to grow. So, this nutrition is provided by the placenta, okay? And this placenta is a disc-like structure that allows for movement of nutrients from mother to baby, right? So, placenta is what is going to help it out, okay? So this is all about internal fertilization. What about external? See, external that is there is when, like in frogs. So in frogs what happens is this fertilization process is not happening within the body, but fertilization process is happening outside the body. So this happens in water, right? So in water what will happen? The eggs are laid, right? So eggs will be laid in large numbers. Large amount of eggs will be produced. Similarly, large amount of sperms will also be released. This is not because animals are small in size, or not because food in water is plenty, not because water is promoting anything. Simply because when you are doing it outside the body, right, that is no longer in the animal's control because they are releasing the gametes outside, right? So what will happen? Because it is outside the body, they want to make sure that fertilization happens. Hence, they will produce large number. So that if I produce, let's say, thousands of eggs, at least one egg and one sperm will fertilize. Which is why to ensure better chances, we see that they produce a large number. So the term exhibiting means to show, right? That's as simple as that. Exhibiting means to show. Ma'am, is the outer covering... Okay. Ma'am, is the outermost covering semi-permeable? How can it create the ova? So, Anushka, basically what happens is the eggs that are produced, right? There are some cells which are called as mother cells, okay? So, there are these mother cells which are there, which we normally use as, I'm giving you a generic term, but you learn, when you learn oogenesis and everything later on in your higher grades, we see that when the girl baby is developing within the mother's body, then only during this ovary development, it will start to produce some of the eggs. And these eggs will reach one level of development and it will stop. That's why women have a fixed number of eggs. They cannot produce, unlimited number of eggs. They have a fixed number of eggs, right? And we see that there are mechanisms through which it is released. So it does not require a semi-permeable membrane to produce it. But when it releases it, there is a pathway through which it will release, right? ठीक है. Are we clear? Ma'am, egg is released from which ovary? Gargi, if in this month it is released from right, next month it is released from left. And they are all controlled by hormones, right? Okay. So with this, I can see, I know we digressed a little, but I saw that many of you have doubts with this, but not bad. We have got 5 out of 15 here, right? Ma'am, what is ovum? Snake, it is basically the egg, right? It is basically the egg, another name for egg. Very good, Janvi, very, very good. Now let's go on to question number 6. In human males, right? So let me end this poll. In human males, the testis, which is the main reproductive organ, lies outside the body. Why? Why does it lie outside the body? Sahil, what is the function of scrotum? To protect the testis, right? So from these 4 options, which is the correct answer? This is very simple. Okay. Ma'am, how do we know if the baby is a boy or a girl? See, normally until the baby is born, we will not know, right? And once the baby is born, you get to know if it's a boy or a girl with respect to the external genitalia and everything, you will get to know. But ideally, what determines whether a baby is going to be or a boy or a girl is based on the sex chromosomes. Yes? Are Arav, no. Mating is basically a process wherein the male and female gametes can be brought together, right? So that is what you call as mating, where when the males and the females come together. What is difference between scrotum and scrotal sac? Same thing. Not much difference. Ma'am, it could either be B or it could either be D. Ma'am, why test tube babies are not that successful? Aradhya, for the very same reason that test tube babies again require you to do the process of fertilization outside the body. It's happening inside a petri dish or in a laboratory. So the conditions are not ideal, right? See, when you try to replicate an internal process outside, the conditions don't match. The body or the cells start to feel like this is not my environment. This is where I should not do it. That is why I would say that it is slightly tougher to exhibit that. See, now what do we talk about? We know that testis that is there is the male reproductive organ, right? Now, the main reproductive organ that is there is found outside the body, or we see that it is found protected by a scrotal sac or the scrotum. So what is the main reason for it being outside the body? Why not inside? Now the testis is responsible for producing sperms, right? So they are what produce the sperms. Now in order to produce the sperms, they require a temperature that is slightly lesser than the body temperature, right? So they require a temperature that is slightly lesser than the body temperature, which is why in this particular case, for the formation of sperms, these testes are located outside the male body. Is it for easy transfer? No, not for easy transfer. What is responsible for transferring sperms? It is the sperm duct or the vas deferens. But the testis lying outside the body is not helping in any way, right? So yes, correct answer is option B. This is formation of sperms. So Pavni, B is the correct answer. Shruti, it feels very like I have committed a crime. Ma'am, you're not talking to me, so I am not going to be in the class. But I am teaching in class, I am trying to explain as much as possible to all your friends, no? So that is why I may have not, I hope I missed your doubt. But, I hope I have not missed your doubt. But please don't mind. So whatever your doubt is there, I'll try to help you out. Yes? Okay. So correct answer here is option B. So 6 out of 15. Very good. What is to conceive? Conceive means, so if they say you have conceived, or conception is basically when fertilization has happened and the young baby is going to be born, right? Jaspreet, abhi ke liye no, Telegram mein you will find the notes. Cool. Let's go on to the next one, and in the meanwhile, don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Very, very few likes I can see. Okay. Moving on to question number 7. What measures should we take in order to protect spoilage and insect attack on harvested grains? Can you tell me? We have 4 options from which you need to give me the correct answer. See, those of you who have doubts with hormones and everything, I would recommend that I'll take a question and explain. If not, I think I have a question towards the end, so I will do that, right? Shruti, I think you're Vaishnavi Bacha. If you're in 6th grade, I'm teaching your seniors, no? Ma'am, will the doctor know if it is a boy or a girl? See, unless they do dedicated tests, they will not get to know. And of late, they don't encourage that, right? When the baby is born, you get to know the gender. So give me 1 minute. Akshay, you can still give me the answer. See, now what is the intent here? We're talking about what steps can I do in order to make sure that my harvested grains do not get spoiled or they don't get attacked by insects. Now what can I do? I can make sure that I can sun dry the grains first so that I get rid of moisture. So I get rid of the moisture content so that now the microbes will not grow and spoil it. Fumigation. What is fumigation? Fumigation is to spray some chemicals, right? So before I actually go and keep the grains in a storage area, I can spray certain chemicals or I can clean it thoroughly so that it will get rid of any unwanted insects. And I can also add neem leaves to my stored grains so that the odor will sort of drive the pests away. So basically what do we see? We see that if I take all these steps, right? If I take all these steps, I can make sure that the grains that I have harvested it will no longer get spoiled and the insects will not attack them, right? So this is what is the correct answer. Correct answer here is going to be option D. So well done, students, well done. Now let's move on to question number 8. So let me end this poll and we'll go on to question number 8. Why leveling is done in soil preparation? So why do we do leveling? It helps in sowing the seeds and uprooting weeds. It makes the soil fertile. It helps in uniform distribution of soil nutrients, or it helps in sowing as well as for irrigation purpose. What is the purpose of doing leveling? Now what is leveling first and foremost? Can you tell me? What is leveling? This is slightly tricky. This is a slightly tricky thing, right? To understand this. Can you tell me what is leveling? Very quickly, all of you. Ara, fragmentation is seen in Spirogyra, where if you have a parent organism, it will split into fragments and each fragment will grow into a new organism. Competition is there between A, C and D. Now, do you know that sometimes when the soil is very dry, right? Or if you see, have you seen soil where sometimes the soil will be in clumps, right? They'll be like rocks, right? So we see that they will be in the form of rocks, SA. They will be in the form of rocks and they'll be in the form of clumps, right? So in such cases, what do we see? We need to make it a point that we level it, right? We break it down and we level it. So this process of leveling is done in order to break down these clumps of soil, right? Now, why should I do this? Is it because it is going to help me sow my seeds and get rid of weeds? No, na. How is it helping me get rid of weeds? See, although there could be some weeds that might be present in the soil, it's not helping me per se. Now, this is a slightly tricky one. Does it make the soil fertile? Now, when will a soil become fertile or when soil nutrients are there? Either the soil should already have it, right? Or I should add nutrients. Now, by doing a process where I am breaking the clumps, am I making it more fertile in any way? Am I making it more fertile in any way? I am not making it more fertile in any way. Whatever nutrients are there, it is still the same, right? It is not becoming more. So here it is not increasing soil fertility. But yes, it can, increase airy space or we can bring in aeration, but no, not making it more fertile. Neither is it helping in uniform distribution because here I have still not tilled my soil, right? I have just broken down clumps of soil. But what will this definitely help me with? It can help me with sowing, because if there are clumps of soil, then it can affect the growth of my seeds, right? And it can disrupt the sowing pattern. And similarly, water distribution can be proper, which is why we see that correct answer is going to be option D. That is, it helps in sowing as well as irrigation. So I know this was a little bit of a confusing question for all of you, but think of it little bit logically and I'm sure you will be able to give me the answer. So let's move on to the next one, wherein we have 4 statements from which you need to tell me which among the following statements are true, right? So very quickly, can you tell me which among the following statements are true? In the meanwhile, I'll take some doubts that many of you are asking me. Okay. Somebody is asking me, ma'am, why do we sow pea after wheat? I'm not sure I forgot your name. Okay. So, Chaitanya is asking me why pea is sown after wheat. This is for crop rotation, because pea, soybean, they're all leguminous plants and they can naturally improve the nutrient content because they have rhizobium in them. That sort of improves soil fertility. That is why it is recommended that we grow pea after wheat, right? Okay. Next up, what are herbicides? Herbicides that are there are basically a type of chemical, right, which is sprayed in order to get rid of unwanted plants that grow along with it. Yes? Okay. Cloning I'll explain towards the end. Arey bachas who are spamming moe, arey today I don't have the energy. Ma'am, if I have any doubt at any time, whom should I ask? See, BYJU'S we have a feature wherein we have an ask a doubt feature, where at any time if you post a picture of a question, you will get the answer immediately, or else if the answer doesn't exist in our database, we will get back to you at the earliest. So if you want it at an any time kind of thing, you can download the app and use it. It's a free feature. But secondly, if you want to ask and get it from us itself, you'll have to come when we take the YouTube classes, right? ठीक है. Okay. Ma'am, what is a homogeneous mixture? This Kriti ma'am is a better person to answer this, but a homogeneous mixture is basically a type of mixture wherein you have the same components mixed together, right? Okay. Ma'am, what if more than one sperm fertilizes with the egg? See, Gargi, 1 and 2 things can happen. If more than, first of all, 1 and 2 sperms cannot fertilize, because there are certain chemicals that allows it, and once that happens, more sperms cannot fertilize. That's how there are chemicals which get released around the egg in that manner. But in some cases, if that does happen, it could be that sometimes for twins formation, we see that sometimes 2 eggs may get released due to some chance or whatever it be, and then 2 sperm fertilization can happen. But other than that, chances are very slim. Okay, so which is true? Now here we see that in this particular case, external fertilization can happen both on land and water. No, external fertilization is exclusively something which happens only in water, right? So we see that it happens only inside water, cannot happen on land. So this statement is false. Eggs of fishes are covered by hard shells. No, eggs of fishes are not covered by hard shells, right? We see that eggs of birds are covered with calcium-rich shells, but not fishes. So this is also false. In the human egg, there is head, tail, and middle piece. No, that is in the sperm, right? In human sperm, we see these structures. So this is also false, which means that the correct answer is option D, where in a human female, a single mature egg is released into the oviduct or the fallopian tube every month. So correct answer here is going to be option D. And I can see many of you here have given me the correct answer, although some of you got confused here and there. Ma'am, explain how soil gets affected with continuous plantation of crops. See, Chaitanya, continuous plantation depletes nutrients, thereby soil gets affected because soil fertility is less. Yes? Largest cell in female is going to be the human egg. Ma'am, zygote and embryo. Zygote, single-celled. Embryo, multicellular. Simple. How can I attend classes regularly? hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Question number 10 is a last easy peasy question. A right meal for adolescents should include what? We have 4 options from which you need to tell me which is the correct answer. I don't even think you need a poll for this because this is that easy. But I am sure that you guys are going to give me the answer. Ma'am, how to recognize microorganisms from their diagram? See, if you ever see cilia, flagella, I mean, that actually I would like to take a different class for that. Because this is not a right class for me to explain that. So maybe I'll take a different class. Ha, Sajid, I'll be fast. In case if you have somewhere to go, you can come back and watch the video. No problem. This is easy. If any of you tell me, ma'am, if I'm an adolescent, I'm a teenager, I will eat chips and noodles and burgers and all sorts of, vegetable cutlet, chaat and all these things because they're all healthy for me. No. Ghar ka khana. Yes, exactly, Anushka. Chapati, dal, vegetables. You need a balanced diet because you are a growing individual, right? You are growing, which means your body is also growing, which means it needs all the nutrients. You cannot give it unnecessary, harmful things to the body. Yes, which is why in this case, this right here is important. Ma'am, it came in my test. Exactly. This is very, very important. Janvi, I will tell you that. But before that, I will quickly we have direct development and indirect development. So see, gestation that is there is basically the total time period it takes for development, right, of the young one. So from zygote to fully development, how much time does it take? So the gestation period in human beings is 9 months. Now we see that development that is there can be of 2 types, right? So we see that we have direct development and then we have indirect development. Now in direct development, what do we see? We see that the young one will directly develop into an adult. But in indirect development, if there are phases like larva or if you have an intermediate phase like larva and everything, that is what we call as indirect development. Okay? Okay. So now we will go on to our next set of questions which are going to be subjective. So here we have 5 questions which are going to be subjective. You can give me the keywords. Yes? Okay. All the best, Divyanshu, for your science pre-board. I know you're going to do well. I know you will do well, right? Don't be nervous. Don't be stressed out, right? Take lots of rest and drink lots of water. Go through the important terms, keywords, diagrams, and you've got it. You know the answers. You'll do well, okay? And let me know how it goes. Let me know how your exam goes tomorrow. Awesome. Let's have a look, everybody. Okay, ma'am, concepts are easy. Tomorrow is an exam for Sanskrit. All the best, Anushka. Do well for your Sanskrit exam. My prayers and blessings are with you. Okay, chalo. Now in this particular case, what do we see? We need to differentiate between a manure and a fertilizer, right? Now when we talk about manure and fertilizer, see, first and foremost, students, this question to pakka it will come in your exam, okay? This is a sure short question. How many of you have had this question in your exam? I'm sure many of you have given it in your examination. Some UT, some ऐसे midterm exam pe pakka to you would have given this. So please star mark that table. Yes? Now you have manure and fertilizers. Now manure is obtained from organic matter, right? So manure is obtained from organic matter. It is eco-friendly. While fertilizers are those chemicals which are obtained or that are used to increase, that are made in factories, right? So we see that these are made in factories and they include inorganic salts. Yes? Now they provide humus to the soil, while this does not provide any. Now we also know that this is absorbed by the plant slowly, but in this case it can be absorbed slightly quickly. This is of course cheaper, while this is expensive. We know that it is eco-friendly and does not cause too much harm, while this can be harmful if used in excess. So here, if it comes for 3 marks, write any 3 pointers. Now one more question that can come is, what are the advantages of manure fertilizer? What is the advantage of manure over fertilizer? What is the disadvantage of fertilizers? These are all different kinds of questions that can come. Okay? Now the next one is, what are weeds? How can we control them? Now this will come for 2 marks. What are weeds? 1 mark. How can we control them? 1 mark, right? What are weeds? Weeds are basically unwanted plants that grow along with my crops, right? They are competing with my plant for nutrient. They are competing with my plant for sunlight. They are not going to be helpful. They are undesirable. I don't want them. So what will I do if I don't want them? I need to get rid of them. How can I get rid of them? I will either use kurpi and then I will manually go get rid of it. Or else what will I do? Again, I have to uproot it manually. Or I can use weedicides like 2,4-D. I can spray chemicals that will specifically kill them, right? So this is one thing that you need to do. Now, if you don't want to pay attention, nobody's forcing you, Shaurya Bacha, but don't spam. So when you're writing the answer, see, that is what I am more focused on, right? So when you're writing the answer, what should you do? Make it a point that you write and see, half the time, you know the concept. You know the concept, you know how the answers should look like. But when you are writing it, right? When you are writing it, what happens is that sometimes maybe the way you are writing it is not very clear. Yes? So when you are writing, say, difference between, whenever the word difference comes, use a table, right? Use a table and of course make it a point that you differentiate it. So when you write all these pointers, I will give 3 marks for it. Now similarly, when you're writing about it, give space between 2 things. What are weeds? They are unwanted, undesirable plants, right? Ways to control them, you can list it down. You will get 2 marks. So thereby in total, you guys have scored 5 marks. Yes? ठीक है. Now moving on to the next question. Easy peasy. Name 2 diseases that are caused by viruses and state 2 characteristics for virus. So here you will get 2 marks for this. 1 mark for naming 2 disease, 1 mark for giving me 2 characteristics. What is metamorphosis? Give example, 1 mark. Ma'am, I'm using the BYJU'S portal. See, one thing I will tell you for many of you who are asking me, ma'am, should I download the BYJU'S app if I'm coming to YouTube class? See, on YouTube, we provide very limited kind of classes, right? There are times when you want to revise and on YouTube, maybe we are not doing revision. Or there are times when you want more and more questions or you've not understood a concept and maybe on YouTube, we don't have enough tools to sort of visually show it to you. So when you download the BYJU'S app, you will see that in the videos, the kind of animations that are there, the way we have explained the concepts makes you understand it very easily. And along with that, in case if you say, ma'am, okay, I don't want to maybe buy the videos, but I want practice, then easily you can go to the revise section and get lot of questions. So that way the BYJU'S app will always is a very, very important thing that will help you understand and practice and revise more, right? So mainly as us as a YouTube channel, we are here to support you. But what you get on the BYJU'S platform are so many more features that we will not be able to show it to you. We will not be able to do on YouTube, right? Okay, very good. Corona, cholera, nahi, bacha janvi, no. See, common cold, then chicken pox, yes, polio, coronavirus, influenza, right? Influenza, then what else? Okay. Soham, cyst is basically a structure which is formed, right? Yes, it's a structure which encloses. So cyst in multiple fission is when it encloses all the daughter nuclei. Soham, I hope now you are clear. All these are examples of viruses. Now what are some characteristics of virus? We know that virus is somewhere between living and non-living, right? So we know that outside the host body, it is non-living, while inside the host body, it is living, yes? And we know that inside the host body also, it will reproduce and make more of itself, and antibiotics are ineffective against viruses. So these are some characteristics that are there. Now the third part of it is, what is metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is basically a drastic transformation that we see from, say, a young one to an adult, right? So we call this as metamorphosis, okay? So we see that an example is that of frog, you can give silk moth, all these are examples of metamorphosis. So when you're writing the answer, you can give some of the diseases caused by viruses are so and so, you will get half mark for this. Then half mark here for 1 mark for this, right? Then you will get 1 mark for telling me characteristics, 2 characteristics. Then I'll give you 1 mark for telling me what is metamorphosis. Yes? Very, very good. Okay. Now let's move on to question number 13, which is again a 3 mark question. 1 mark question for telling me what are endemic species, and 2 marks for telling me can forests regenerate naturally in a short period of time. So here, these are 2 questions. So first, can you tell me what are endemic species? What are endemic species? Mendak. Yeah, Mendak is a frog. Yes, I will make a video. Janvi, just as a reminder, will you put it in the comments of this video so that I don't forget? See, because with all the things that go on, no, my memory is not that the greatest. Very good, Devika. Very, very good. See, what is endemic species? They are basically plants and animals that we find in a specific locality. So if you look at Nicobar pigeon, or if you look at the lion-tailed macaw, right, we find them in certain geographical regions, right? We don't find them anywhere else. So we call such organisms as endemic species. Now the second part of the question here, you can give 2 examples also, right? Any 2 examples you put in the answer, you will get 1 mark for this. Now the next part of the question is, can a forest regenerate naturally in a short period of time? Can it regenerate in a short period of time? For forest, aise hi only it will grow if I leave it. Yes or no? Very good with the examples, all of you. Good, very good. Will a forest generate aise? Who is Indian Malfoy? All the best for your science exam, bacha. Do well. Sangeeta is like, Mom, I'm being ignored. Nee, I'm not ignoring you. Hindi, please. See, I would love to teach in Hindi, right? It's just that my Hindi is not good. It's not like I can't speak in Hindi. But there's a difference between speaking in Hindi and teaching in Hindi, no? You imagine I speak in Hindi, but you don't understand what I teach. What is the point of speaking then? So communication-wise, I do know Hindi, but teaching-wise, I am not good at it. That is why I teach in English. So please don't mind with that. I've always come clean to you. No? Okay. It can regenerate, but not in a short period of time. Exactly. See, in a short period, what is a forest? A forest is basically a large area of land which has trees, right? It has a large distribution of trees. It has grasses and herbs and everything. Now, if you look at it in a piece of land which has undergone deforestation, in a short period of time, your grasses and let's say some small plants will grow, okay? But trees will not grow. Trees take a long period of time, which is why we can practice reforestation. What is reforestation? Reforestation is basically a piece of land wherein it was a forest but it was cut down, but we leave it undisturbed. That means nobody does anything, right? Nobody will touch that piece of land, and naturally when it is left undisturbed, the forest will grow. But in a short period of time, we cannot expect a forest to grow. It requires years and years to grow, which is why in this case you will get 1 mark for this and 2 marks for writing this down, right? Okay. Yeah, I do, Arav. But I should not waste too much time, no, on that. So I have some amount of time that I keep for it. I'll be lying if I say that I don't watch reels, I'm very good. No, I'm also honest. I'm also like you. I do watch reels, but I dedicate a time for it. Okay. Jaspreet, if you have exam tomorrow, you can leave the class now because I'll take another 5-10 more minutes because I also need to explain hormones right now. So I will take about 10 more minutes. So if you have to leave, it's okay. Ma'am, how do tests identify the younger ones? Sangeeta, okay. When you're saying younger ones, are you asking for the baby? Are there any tests which tell me what the baby is or looks like? Is that what you're asking? If that is the case, you let me know. Okay? Now prepare a table that depicts the names of endocrine glands and hormones. Now let's understand the concept of hormones. Now see, when we know that when during the adolescent phase, right? So we have different phases of life. We have, we are born and our initial phase of life is infancy, where we are young babies. Then we go into childhood, yes? Now during childhood our body is physically developing, but the body is not developed enough to reproduce, right? Which is why we see that in order to undergo changes, the reproductive changes that are there takes place during adolescence, and then we reach adulthood, right, where the body is fully mature physically, mentally, everything. The body is mature enough to conceive or make a young one. So this changes, we see that there are various changes that occur during this adolescence period. We see that the reproductive phase, we enter into a reproductive phase where a lot of changes takes place. Now, who takes place, who is responsible for bringing about these changes? So we see that there are some chemicals that are produced inside our body. Now these chemicals, they act as messengers, okay? Now think of it as if you were to send me a letter. This is a very common example I use. Now if you were to send me a letter, right? Dear Aishwarya ma'am, I was very happy in today's class. I wanted to tell you that I enjoyed the class today, but you wanted to give me a letter. So in this particular case, what will you do? You will write my name saying this is for Aishwarya ma'am. You will write my address, and then you will send it and you will put it in the post box, right? You will go and you'll put it in the post box and you will say, हाँ, okay, मेरा काम हो गया. Now what will happen? It is not that only your letter has come, no. Some hundreds and thousands of letters have been put inside the post box. Then you have a postman who will come and he will make sure that he takes it to different paths. Now how will he know where to take it? So how is he going to know where to take it? That it has to come to my house. It is based on the address that is given here, right? So the address here is going to help the postman realize where this has to go. Now think of this letter as the hormone, right? Think of it as a hormone or the chemical messenger who is there. So this is the chemical messenger. Yes. And we see that these hormones or the chemical messengers, they get released into the bloodstream, right? They get released into the bloodstream. Now the post box is the bloodstream, the post box and the postman. And through the bloodstream, it goes to the target site. The target site here is nothing but my home, right? My home, which he was able to easily find. And he was able to do this with the help of the address. So similarly, at the target site, we have an address which we call as a receptor, right? A receptor is basically a structure that helps the chemical messenger understand, okay, this is where I need to be. So simply put, this is how hormones work. So chemical messengers that bring about various changes within our body are called as hormones. And we see that these hormones are directly secreted into the bloodstream. Yes? So they are directly secreted into the bloodstream. Now glands which produce them are what we call as endocrine glands, right? So different kinds of endocrine glands are there. We have the pituitary gland, which is the master gland that produces growth hormone that is responsible for growth in our body, right? And also controls the functioning of other endocrine glands. Now you have thyroid gland, which is a butterfly shaped organ which is present in your neck region that produces thyroxine. It is responsible for regulating various metabolic activities. Yes, we have adrenal gland which is located on top of the kidneys that produces adrenaline, which is a stress hormone. Yes, and that sort of regulates when you are feeling nervous or stressed out, adrenaline is produced. You have pancreas, which is there behind your stomach, that produces insulin that regulates the sugar levels, right? And in males, there is testes, which produces testosterone, which is the male sex hormone that is responsible for development of your the male testes, brings about development of facial hair, so on and so forth. Then we have ovary in females that produces estrogen that brings about development of mammary glands that is responsible for development of ovary, so on and so forth. Okay, two questions that I will take of Sangeeta and Purvi. What is a gland? Gland is a group of cells or it is an organ that secretes certain substances, right? Second up, when I meant by younger ones, right? So when I meant by younger ones, what did I mean by it? Okay, so in this particular case, when I meant babies. Question is how to identify, test to identify young ones. See, how do you know if a baby is being conceived in the mother's body, right? Now, if there is fertilization that has happened, how will the mother know? So there are some tests, right? So basically when say fertilization happens, there are various hormones that will be released in large number, like progesterone. Amount of progesterone in the body will start to increase. So based on the levels of chemicals in the body, doctors are able to test and identify if the woman is pregnant or no. Secondly, if it has to come with respect to sex of the baby, Sangeeta, there are certain tests, but they are no longer legal or they are no longer practiced, wherein they do these tests to determine whether it is a baby or no. So yes, that is what the case is. How is test tube baby formed? Test tube babies are formed wherein the fertilization process happens outside the body, and then we see that development happens outside. So those are test tube babies where the fertilization process happens outside. Metabolic activities are the sum total of chemical reactions that happen inside our body. So all the chemical activities, that is what we mean by metabolism. Pituitary gland, pea-shaped gland, which is located at the base of our brain, that produces growth hormone, that is responsible for it. Anime shots, I have answered your question. See, how are twins born? Twins are born in 1 in 2 cases. Identical twins are born when, let's say, during zygote, one zygote is formed, when they start to divide, right? We see that they can either split into 2 and they will become 2 cells, right? So what do we see? We see that now these 2 cells have become 2 zygotes. Then they will individually develop. So that is one way in which twins are born. Hypothalamus is the master of the master gland. So hypothalamus is what controls your pituitary gland. Bioinsecticides are naturally available insecticides that can inhibit the growth of, say, attack of insects. Cool. So when you're writing the answer, I have taken all of your doubts. So when you're writing the answer, you just need to make a table for the same. Now I will go, Anoku, I have given you the answer for that, bacha. I have given you the answer. Now this is a very easy question, right? This is going to be 1 mark and let's say 2 marks for this. It's a 3-mark diagram based question where you need to tell me what is A, B and C. So very quickly, can you tell me what is A, B and C? Kamaraj, TSH is basically thyroid stimulating hormone. That means that it will be responsible for telling the thyroid gland to produce thyroxine, right? Okay. So in this case, what is A? A right here is the ovary, right? What is B? B is pointing towards the oviduct or the fallopian tube. What is C? Very good, Gungun. It is the uterus. Now they are asking you to write down the function of A and C. What is the function of the ovary? Function of the ovary is mainly to produce eggs, right? Development of the female gamete or the egg takes place inside the ovary. And what is the function of the uterus? Uterus is where the site of, it is the site of implantation. So the young one, we see that the embryo gets implanted here and further development will complete at the uterus, which is called as the womb. So when you're writing the answer, you can write it in this manner and you will get 3 marks for the same. So with the students, for those of you who have stayed with me till the very end, we are done with 15 out of 15 questions. Now, as you all know, we are done and we've revised the entire syllabus. But just to check how well you have done it, go to the description of this video and click on the link in the description for the Google form and give the test, right? Now, entries, I will keep it open up until 10:30 because I ran my class late itself. So go ahead and give the test at your own pace of time. And the initial few entries, I will be featuring it on our community post as our test heroes. And don't forget to let me know in the comments also if you have enjoyed this class and what was your marks in the test. How much did you score out of 5? So we will be announcing the winners by the end of this week, right? So everybody, I hope that all of you enjoyed the class today. And yes, Sachi, fallopian tube is same as oviduct. So if you enjoyed this class, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video with all of your friends. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button on our channel. So thank you so much everybody for staying with me till the very end. I will see you all soon. But up until then, take care. Lots of love to all of you. And bye-bye. Good night.